Howdy, howdy, y'all. Today we are back with another Fog of War Sudoku by AstralSky. So, with that said, we'll just get right on into it. So, let's see. We have killer Sudoku rules, and the killer cages can't overlap. And additionally, there are exactly 9 cells in the grid that are called doublers, 1 in each row, column, and box. These will be light sources. The doubler doubles the value in the cell, which pretty much only interacts with killer cages. Each digit is doubled once, and each doubler will light up the 3x3 area around it. The layout of these must clear all the fogged areas in the grid. So, let's see. Alright. So one of these two is a 6 right off the bat. The 68 is going to have a couple doubler values in it. That just seems pretty clear to me, at least right now. It's a good question as to how many there are, because it's somewhat restricted by the fact that each cage can be a maximum of 9 cells long. So it's unclear as to how many different doublers 68 can actually have. And I think the answer to that is probably going to be 4? I can't see a way to make it more than 4 of them, just looking at it. So 4 would mean I would need some numbers adding up to 23, so I need a minimum of 3 doublers and a maximum of 4 adding up to 23. Which isn't a lot to go on right off the bat. Okay. And each doubler needs 2. Okay, each doubler has to be somewhere within the fogged areas, right? Because we can have 2 here, 3 here, 4, and then we would need a 5th one for this block, a 6th one here, a 7th one here, an 8th one here, and then a 9th one to cover this square. So, actually no, they don't all necessarily actually need to be within the fog then, thinking about it. There's a chance they're not all within the fog, actually, so don't worry about that, actually. Now I just need to check if it's actually possible to get an orientation that has 4 doublers in it. I assume it's possible because you could just do something like this, and that has 4 spots for them. So, yeah. Seems pretty possible to me to get 4 doublers on the 68 here. And, yeah, okay. Cages can't overlap. So, I'm just going to mark some cells real quick. There is that. Okay. The sum total is given in the upper left-hand corner. Which means, is it actually possible to get 4 in here? That's might not be achievable. 7, 8, 9. Oh no, it's still completely achievable. Because I could do something like this for the 68, and then I can get 4 in there. So I could still get 4. Needs to be the, well, I guess at the top left corner. I guess the top takes precedence over left, because for this cage, if it was left and then highest left square, it would be here, but it's clearly not, which means that this one has to go at least up to this row. and it can't connect up to the 68 up there. Similarly, this green one's also going to have to get to a higher row at some point. And this 45 can't go up any higher. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I guess the 45 could theoretically connect like this. That is possible. And yeah, okay. Otherwise, if the 45 doesn't do that, I suppose it's still probably achievable to get the 45 solved without that, although it's unclear. Okay. Yeah, I'm really just trying to figure out where I can, like, where I should go from here. Because this one doesn't seem super clear-cut as to where I should actually be looking now for whatever and all that. This 45 here, how many cells is this at least? If I have if this cell here is a double, that's 8 doubled 16 plus 5 is 21 plus 9 would put me at 30. I could double that, and then I would just need a 6. So theoretically, this could be as small as a 4-cell cage. So I don't really think I can get all that much more useful information out of this, because I'm pretty sure, yeah, if this one was a double, I'd cover all of those. On the one down here, I'd cover all of these. And then I would just need to be able to cover the remaining grid with 7 more of them? Is that actually possible? Yeah, it's possible. Because I could have one that covers this clump, one for this clump, 2 more for these, and that would put me at 6, 7, 8. Oh no, that's not actually possible. So this 45 has to be at least 5 cells. Although I'm not particularly sure how helpful that is to know. So I could have double 9 here plus 6. It's 24 plus 5 is 29. Plus 8 plus 4 puts me at 40. 8 plus 4 would put me at 41. 3 and 1. I guess, is it possible for it not to extend out here then? Because in here the maximum sum I can get is 9 plus 6 plus 5 plus 4 plus 3. 6, 5, 4, 3, and double 9 to 18 plus another 18 is 36, would mean I would need another 9 out here. So this one here actually has to extend over to here at least, because it can't go back up again, and it can't be in any of these cells, although theoretically it could connect down here. So either way, it has to extend out to here. Great. Intersect, overlap, yada yada. Okay. Because this one, well, I guess this one could be a double as well. Could it? If this one's a double and that one's a double, I'm pretty sure I already checked this. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1 here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, there's no problems with that. I could have this one and this one be doubles, I guess, so I actually don't have any more information. Although I can't be missing this one, right? Because then I would have to go like this, and I'm pretty sure that breaks no matter how close I make the double in here. That's 5, 6... Yeah, okay. So I need to have this one be part of the cage because I can't make the cage with a single double, I think. Is 8 plus 9, 9, 6, 4, 5 would be 15 plus 8, 23 plus 9 doubled is only 41 max, so yeah. I need to have this cell at least. Okay. Huh. Real issue I'm running into with this is I just straight up have no idea as to where I want to go with solving this any further than here. Because I feel like this 45 has too many options open to it. Because if I wanted to, I could have 8 here doubled and like a 9 here doubled. And then that's 34 already, and I just need 2 numbers adding up to 5 here, which could be a 6 and a 3 pretty easily, and then that would already have this cage solved in 4. So, and then 68 here. I just can't have any more of the cage up here, but other than that, I don't think it particularly matters where the cage goes. Well, it can't connect to this red one or green one or any of these, obviously, but other than that, I'm not particularly sure. Yeah, and I'm also not even sure where, like, the light source within, like, edge whatever rows and columns even shows up. Because I feel like it could even be possible for there to be, like, one in a corner, right? Because then I would just need to have one in one of these 2 cells, one in one of these 2 cells, which would mean that I would also need to have one in one of these 2 cells, and in one of these 2 cells here. Then, like, I feel like this is just completely fine. Because either way, these cells are guaranteed to be lit up, so are all of these. And then that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because then I could just have one here, here. Realistically, I need to have one down here to cover, to hit both of these if I have one in the middle here. And one over here. But, like, if I have it the other way around, then I could just have one down. Then I could just have one here instead. So, like, I don't particularly see any information I can glean off that. Each number needs to have one doubler associated with it as well, I guess. For the 68, I guess, since it needs to be... Can I do this with 8 cells worth of digits at all? I assume there's a way to. If I have 9, 8, and 7, 24 plus 44 puts me at 68 as well. So yeah, I could do this with 8 cells pretty easily. And have 3 doublers. Hmm. Which means that I really have no clue what I'm supposed to be doing with any of this. This cell down here has to be 1, 3, 4, 5, I suppose, which isn't extremely helpful. Okay. This cell here can't be in any of these or any of this. So this one here, which I'll color in purple, has to be one of these two cells as well. Okay. This cell here has to be somewhere down here, I guess. Or it could be an 8. This purple one, I guess, could also theoretically be a 2. So actually, that's not super decisive. Yeah, this is a tricky one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like, these could connect, theoretically, and it'd be completely fine. Huh. Color cage totals are given in this puzzle, and color cages may not intersect. And I'm not missing any rules, I think. Yeah, okay, I'm not missing anything, because I've had 1 or 2 where it's the rule sometimes don't make the conversion over completely right from the Logic Master page to here, but that doesn't seem to be an issue here. Because I know this one has to go up eventually, but it could go over here first, and then this one just has to extend here. Because these two are not the same one, I don't think. They literally could be the same one, for all I know, to be honest. I wouldn't think they are, but it's completely possible for them to be the same, part of the same one. Let's see, if I have this one as a... I'm just going to see if I can figure out if this cell can be a doubler or not. Then what, I can't have any in here either. Or in here, so I need to have one in one of these blocks. Does that even tell me? I don't think that really tells me much of anything. That's right, if this cell's a doubler, then none of these can be doublers either. And then I just need... Then there has to be a doubler in one of these columns and one of these columns, which means... What does that tell? Does that tell me much of anything at all? I don't think so. Yeah, I'm just not seeing where I can go with that. These cages have to be separate. Yeah, this one's tough, to say the least. Because with 68 up here, I don't see any reason or any way to determine much of anything about it. Well, I know I can mark all of these cells as not being doublers, I guess. Which... does that tell me much of anything? I don't particularly think that does tell me much of anything, I guess. Is it possible to make this 68 without having a 2 in it? Then I would need to have 4 doubler cells total. Could still be an 8 cell. Would it have to be a 7 cell cage with 4 doublers, which I don't think is possible. Two, three, four, five. Yeah, no, I guess this one needs to have a 2 in it, but like it could have a 2 anywhere else, so I don't particularly see how helpful that would be to know. If the doubler for this box isn't within this cage here, does that cause things to break? Because then I need to have at least 3 doublers, which would be... is it possible to get up to 3? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I don't think... can I even get up to 4 doublers, assuming I don't have one in this spot? How do I even... I don't remember my setup for getting to 4 doublers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go, that's... seems completely possible still, because something like this already gets 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. So if I just don't have one up here, theoretically you could even do that, and that's already going to get you 3 more. I was assuming there isn't one in here. What if I don't have a doubler in the center cell at all? Does that cause things to have issues? Because then, what does that tell me? It means I know that there has to be a doubler in one of these 2 columns, right, to hit whichever cell isn't included in these. And I just have to look at 2 cases because this is a perfectly symmetrical board. So let's say there's one here on any edge cell. What happens then? Then I need to have one that hits this cell as well, which means it has to be in one of these groups. I additionally need to have some that are hitting these cells, which can't be this one, so let's see, to hit this inner cell, let's just say it's this one because everything is perfectly symmetrical anyway, so it doesn't matter. Then to hit this corner cell, I can't have any here or here, so it has to be one of these 2 cells. And additionally up here, let's see, where else do I need to look? Has to be one of these 2 cells. I need to have one hitting this corner, which must then be one of these 2 cells, so that breaks if it's on an edge, right? Because for this one, it has to be one of these 2. To hit this guy, I need to have one here, which means this corner isn't achievable. So I can't have it on an edge, so let's see, if it's on a corner now, what does that mean will happen? Now to hit this cell here, I would need to have one in one of these 3 cells, And to hit the cell here, I need to have one of these 3 cells. Okay. To hit this cell, has to be one somewhere in this group here. What about these? I don't actually know if this corner's one, if the corner one's going to break anything. What about to hit this? To hit this cell here, I just need one in one of these 3 cells, I guess. Whoops. Let's see. Because to hit this one, it could be here, here, or here. Not sure this is actually going to get me anywhere. Let's see. Well, we have 2 cases. We have 3 cases for hitting here. Let's check this one first. If we have that, then we need to have one here or here. And it has to be here, because if it was here, this cell wouldn't be able to get fulfilled. So that means that this cell isn't revealable, so it can't be that square. So to hit this one, it can't be here. So let's check here. Or to hit this square, it can't be here, so let's check down here. Now then, to hit... let's see. To get this cell seen, I need to have one of these 2. And this cell is not seeable anymore. So it can't be that one. What if it's finally this one? Then, let's see, this cell has to be one of these 3 here, which we already know this one breaks, so it has to be one of these 2. If it's this one, then I need to have one down here, and there's, I guess this one's open to see here, but then that's going to break up here. So it can't be that one. So let's see. Can't be this one. Would have to be here, which would mean this one would have to be 1 as well. And one of these 3, I guess, would have to be 1, but this cell still breaks. So what that tells me is that this one has to be, just from brute forcing it out, this one has to be one of the doublers. Which means, is it possible? Did my setup have me reaching that? I mean, like, I can, so. This one is a doubler here. And it sees all of these, and I'll just mark, I guess I'll mark the cells that can't be doublers in a different shade of gray. Or, actually I'm just going to ditch this and make it purple, because this shade of gray is not distinct enough. So instead I'm just going to mark the ones that are lit up in yellow. And then none of these or any of this can be doubler cells. Okay. So these 2 need to get seen, which will happen from, well, this one needs to get seen, which means it has to be one of these 4. Same on this side, same up here, same over here. So there is that. Okay. Let's see. So one of these 2 sides is going to also need to get seen from outside here, and it's going to have to be both of these, which would mean it would have to be one of these 2, which means the other one's a top row, so I can eliminate all of this block, because there has to be one here, in here or here and here, and then one in the top row for the remaining one. Which means, based on symmetry, I can mark out this block and this block. And I can do that pattern on the other two corners as well. So it can't be any of this, and it can't be any of this, which means, great. We know then that it has to be a pattern like this. That we have ones and corners here. Can't be any of these. It has to be one of these two, one of these two, one of these two, and one of these two. And then corners, which means I'm going to just instead now mark candidate cells with the darker shade, purely because the rest of this isn't necessary. So I'm first just going to ditch all the darkness. Now that it doesn't matter. And then corner. There we go. So these are all my candidates for doublers. And I can fill up the board with this guaranteed. So for this 68, it needs to have at least 3 doublers, I guess. Let's see. And if this one's a doubler, then neither of these are doublers. It would have to be both of these further away too, which would mean 1, 2, 3. I guess it's still reachable. And if this one isn't, then it would be both of these. 1, 2. Or I guess, if I wanted it to be better, 1, 2, 3, or 3. So the 68 can reach, I think 3 is the best it can do, is reaching 3 doublers, which is still completely fine. Then for these other ones, I don't know how much I particularly care. This 45 can only hit 1 doubler here, which means if it hits just 1 doubler, we have 18 plus 8 is going to give me 26 plus 6, 5, 4, 3 is going to be another 18, which would put me at, what, 44? Yeah, 44. Alright, 18 plus 8 is 26, plus 6 is 32, 5, 37, 4, 41, 3. So this blue one does actually have to extend out one more now that I know there can't be a doubler here. Okay. So, because even if it were to, take all of this, it simply is not large enough, so it has to extend here. It can't extend upwards. It's not going to connect over here for a myriad of reasons. It can't connect down here. It could end here, or it could connect to this one. It's unclear which it is. Although, if we have 8 cells, is it possible? No, it's completely possible to have 2 doublers and be, well, it'd only be 1 doubler, and for it to be completely fine with the 45. Okay. Okay. Then I guess the next question is which doublers can be 6s? Because it looks very limited. Okay, no, it's not actually limited. It could be here, here, or there. So it's not extreme. It's not terribly limited, actually, looking at it. Because, yeah, even 6, the most prevalent number, still has a good number of places to show up. As in, it can show up in, 1 of 4 locations, but, yeah. Okay. 68 needs to hit 3 doublers. Is it possible for it to do it without the center one? If this one's a doubler, then that's 3. No shot. Because if this one's a doubler, I can't reach both of these or this one within enough squares. And if it's these two, then 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh no, I could reach this one. This is completely achievable. So I guess it is possible for not to include the central one. If only I could figure out what digits were in some of these, I could actually get somewhere. Okay. Yeah, this is a tricky thing. Like, I've hit a break-in, but I feel like it's not enough. Okay, so I know I'm hitting 3 doublers with this, because I need to hit at least 3. If this is 9 cells, then it needs to be 23, which would mean it would need to be 9, 8, and 6. If it's 8 cells, then it would have to be missing a 1, 9, 8, and 7. Just, yeah. Because can it be 8 cells? Is it possible for me to hit 3 with 8 cells? I really don't think it is. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, no. It has to be 9 cells, which means it has to be... Oh, that means it has to be 9, 8, and 6, which means I need to have a 6 doubler in reach, which the only other ones in range are this one out here. Oh, no. It's this one or one of these. Or up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Shoot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, no, there's... It would take all of my movement to reach even the closest ones, which isn't possible, so this one has to be the 6. Oh, thank gosh. And, well, that's going to give me all my doubler positions, so I can real quick just... Either of these... that one... This one... There we go. So that's all of these marked. Which means I can also get rid of this yellow from here because it doesn't matter anymore. And then this one's still going to be orange. And then we extend over at least 2 this way. This one can be purple because that's not as likely to overlap. And then this one can be yellow. This one's going to have to extend up at some point. This one needs to hit still 2 more. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think this has to be it. 7, 8, 9. Alright, because this is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, yeah. Great. So then this one's 8 or 9, and this one's 8 or 9. Okay. Which means this yellow one here can't be connected over here, because that just wouldn't make sense. And isn't the top of whatever it's in, so like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is the only possibility left for it, is for it to loop around like this. This one here has to extend upwards then through here and up to here, which means it's going to connect to this 45. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 cells. That's not enough, is it? Was I incorrect about something in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It has to hit a doubler somewhere then, which is clearly not correct. So Maybe I made a mistake somewhere in my logic. We're just gonna get rid of all of this and think about that. Is this one theoretically... Oh, no, but this one can't be connected to this one at all. Most realistically. And this one has to be a doubler, too. This has to be this one has to be a 45. This one has to extend upwards somewhere. This one needs to still get to a higher position than it's currently at. Which I can only do like this. Right, yeah. And this 45 here. And like, even if extend... Oh, no, it just extends over here. Oh boy. Don't worry about what's going on right now with me. This is... Sometimes it just happens. 4, 5, 6. So there we go. Now this is just a 45 because, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's just 9 cells. Okay. So, for this one to have a 6, it's going to have to be here, which shouldn't light up anything. Neither of these are 6s. For this 45, I have 3 cells in here, which must correspond to these 3 up here, I guess. This green one could theoretically be the same as the purple one, unclear. This blue one, theoretically, actually, shoot. The blue one's number is going to be a lot lower now, thinking about it. Because the maximum this can be is a 5 doubled. So that's 10, if this is a 5, right? Because that's the largest we get. 10 plus 8 is 18, plus 4 here, because we already have a 5 there. It's 22. 22 plus 6 plus 3 plus 9. So 22, 18 would mean that this couldn't be large enough, so it does have to connect down here the entire way. Okay. Cool. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Which means this is the entire cage. So the missing number has to be covered by doubling this number, which means that I have to be missing... And... Shoot. What am I missing then? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Because if doubling a number has to cover the fact I'm missing a different number completely, wouldn't that just imply that the number I'm missing is the same as the doubled number? That seems wrong. Maybe I messed up my math somewhere in here. Because I can have a 9, I can have an 8. 9 plus 8. No, this... Actually, no, it can't. This physically can't connect, right? Because then I'd have 8 cells. The doubled one would need to be somehow covering the last cell. This is a number which isn't possible, which implies that I need to be able to make this 45 work as is. It just means this double one isn't the largest possible doubled one, because like this could be a 7, which is the necessary insight here. 8 plus 9 plus 7 is 24. Means I need to hit 21 of my remaining ones. Let's see. Double 5 is 10, plus 6 plus 4 plus 1 works, for instance. So, yeah. This one just can't connect, though. And doubling a 5 here is the largest double we could get. We would still need 6, 4, and 1. If we double a 4 here, when we have 9, 8, and 7, it's 31, means we need 14 plus 6 is going to put me at needing 8 left, which still is covered by 2. So I'm pretty sure these both need to be at once in the cage. I'm not going to... I will mark it for now. But I'm going to put this over to indicate I'm not super sure, because I don't want to brute force all the possible combinations to determine it. But I feel pretty confident that these both need to be in there for this to work. Well, this one has to be a 6, just from process of elimination. This can't be a 6, because there's already a 6 here, so this has to be a 6, which means this and this are 6s, because I already have a 6 in this black cell. Okay. Alright. as for this 8, 9 here has to be one of these two cells. And this cell here, well, this cell here, which I'm going to color in red, has to be the same as this cell because it sees that one. So this one here is 8 or 9, and it's going to get colored in blue is the same as this cell. Okay. Which means this 8 or 9 is somewhere in this column. For whatever that matters. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The double digit here is a maximum of 5, which means the most numbers that it's missing it could cover is 2, so I do need this to be a 7 long one, so actually these both guaranteed have to be in here. And this one has to cover at least 2 numbers missing, so it has to be 3, 4, or 5. Because, like, if it's 3, it's just we're missing 1 and 2, then we would have a 7 here, 4 and a 5 here, and or 1 and 4 and 5 here, the other one here, and 9 here, and an 8 here. That's right. 6 plus 6 is 12, plus 8 is 20, plus 9 is 29, plus 7 is... does that work? How am I messing this one up? 6 plus 6 is 12, plus 8 is 20, 27, 36 from one of these, 4 and 5. Yeah, okay. Which means I need to have a 9 in here somewhere. This one here has to be a 7, so this one here has to be an 8. And, yeah, one of these two is a 9. And then we're just missing 1 and 2, 1 and 3, or either 1 and 4 or 2 and 3. Since there can't be a 2 in here, there has to be a 2 somewhere in here, so I can't be having a 3, so I'm missing 1 and 3 or 1 and 4. So this one down here has to be 1, 3, or 4, and this one down here has to be 1, 3, or 4, and one of these has to be a 1. Great. Okay, so now that we have that sorted, we don't have any information about what these remaining black cells need to be yet. Let's see. Well, this 3 here sees everything except for this cell, which means this cell has to be a 3, which means one of these two is a 3, and any of these black cells could still be a 3. So, okay. This cell here sees all of this and this one, so this black cell has to be one of these 2 cells, which means it can't be a 7. And this one can't be a 7. Oh, actually, this one just has to be a 7, so because of these 2 7s, and that lit up a square, which means I haven't messed up somewhere, which is a good sign for me, considering, full disclosure, it's been over a month since I've done any Sudokus that require serious thinking, so, other than, I guess, the World Puzzle Federation Sudoku comp or whatever, but that's a different kind of thinking from these Fog of War Sudokus, at least in my opinion. Yeah. Okay, so, getting back on track. I still need a 5 and a 9 down here. And this 8, 9 is going to be the same as over here, which means I either have an 8 in one of these two or a 9 down here, I guess. This cell here has to be one of these 3. It can't be a 6 or a 7, so this cell here has to be the same as this cell, which I will mark in gray. What are the possibilities for this one? It's 2, 3, or 9, I guess. Because it can't have 1, and it can't ever be 4, because 4 is here or down here, so it's 2, 3, oh, it could be 5. Well, it can't be 5, because the 5 need to be here. So it's, in this case, it's 2 or not. Oh, it can't be 9 either. Right, because it can't be 5 or 9 because of these ones down here. It can't be 3 because of this, so it has to be a 2. Which means both of these are 2 and this is a 9. And one of these 3 is a 9. And I can just ditch that coloring. Okay, so in this one here, if this is a 4, this has to be a 5. If this is a 5, this has to be a 3. Okay, so there's a 1 in here, which means one of these 2 has to be a 1. 1, 3, 4, 5. I need to have an 8 in here as well. Which means one of those 3 is an 8. Or one of these 2 has to be an 8. Which means somewhere in this line is an 8. Can't be this one, so it has to be one of these 2. Okay. I need to have a 1 and an 8 up here. Okay, so it's going to be 1, 8, and then 3 and 4 possible in both rows. And then down here, 3, 4, 5, 9. This one here can't be an 8. It has to be 1, 3, or 4. Because it's 1, 3, 4, or 5 for the remaining ones here. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this one here is 1, 2, 4, or 5. This one could be any of them. This one here has to be able to be in one of these 2 cells. So it can be 1. It cannot be 2. It can't be 5. So it has to be 1, 3, or 4. 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4. One of these has to be a 2, I guess. Which means I can't have any 2s in this column, because it would see both of these. So this one just has to be a 2. And one of those 2 squares is a 2 as well. This 2 sees all of these. This one also can't be 2 anymore, so this has to be a 2. One of these 3 is a 2 as well. One of these is a 2. This 2 here sees all of these, which means one of these 3 is a 2. Okay. I still need 1, 4, 5, 7 for the remaining ones in here. One of these 2 is a 7, so this has to be 1, 4, or 5. Which means I need a 7 here, and I have 1, 4, 5, 7. And then this one has to be 1, 4, 5, or 7. Okay. Which means I have an 8 or a 9 in here, and then this 8 or 9 here has to also be in here, so I can't have a 9 down here, because both 8 and 9 are going to be in this column already. Is it possible still for this one to connect over with this one? I guess? No, because this 1, 3, or 4 has to be somewhere up here, so these 2 are in fact separate groups. So, yeah. This is just a 3-cell cage. 1, 3, 4. One of these has to be a 5. Which doesn't help me as much as I would like it to. There has to be a 7 and well, there has to be a 9 in one of these 2 squares, and then there's a 7 somewhere just in this box, which I can't really discern at the moment. Well, there has to be a 7 in one of these 2 squares as well, which means there's a 7 somewhere up here in this row. It has to be one of these 2. For this row, there has to be a 7 in one of those 2 spots. Which means if there's a 7 here, one of these 2 is a 7. There's a 7 here, this one's a 7. Which isn't extremely helpful, but yes, it's something. There has to be a 5 down here as well, which means this up here is 1, 8, 3, 4. And down here it's 3, 4, 5, 9. 3, 4, 5, 9. Okay. 1, 3, 4, 8 means there has to also be a 5 somewhere in here, and since these three correspond to all three of these, I need to have an 8 here. I just can't have a 9, which did light up that, so that's good. I'll get rid of that as well then. No 8 here or in either of those. Okay, and that means this one has to be a 9, which means there's a 9 somewhere in this column. Great. One of these two is a 9. What else is there to see? Well, I don't need this cage marked at all, because it's all just completely visible at this point. This one here then is 1, 3, or 4, which doesn't tell me much. And this cell here has to be the same as this cell here. Right, because it can't be either of these, and it can't be this one because these two are the same cell as well. Why are these? Oh yeah, these two are the same cell because of this cage here. Okay, so yeah. This one here, which we'll mark now in yellow because the color's open, has to also be one of those two. And this yellow one also appears in this column here, so it has to be in one of these two cells down here. Alright. Well, that means that this one here has to be an 8, just from process of elimination. And this has to be an 8 as well, which... does that do anything else? Well, I guess one of these two has to be an 8, right? Because... No, it could be one of these two still. It's just something in this column has to be an 8. Okay. Okay. 3, 6 are both marked. 8's here, this one is that one, and this one's that one. Okay. If only I could figure out what this cage summed to, that would help a lot, but I would need to figure out what this one is first. Same thing with this one here, as those two would be very useful for determining any of it. Well, at least I know this is a 9, so I'll just mark that in. These two cells really shouldn't be colored like that anymore. If this one's a 9, then this one here has to be the yellow, which means it has to be 1 or 4. Which means this has to be 5 or 9. This is a 5, 7, 9 triple then. Okay. One of these two is a 1, I guess. Okay. So one of these two has to be a 5. Which I don't think is actually a super useful thing to know at the moment. Yeah, it doesn't seem extremely helpful to have. So I'm not gonna think about that yet. This 1 or 4 here has to be in one of these two. One of these has to be an 8, the other one has to be 1, 3, or 4 as well. One, 4, 5, 7, and 8 have to still be up here. Okay. One of those 3 is a 9. Huh. Yeah, this is where it gets tricky. Because I'm just not spotting what the last steps I need to do are. Just to get this done. Yeah, if I knew what this cell was, then I would know what this sums to, but like, at the same time, if I already knew what this cell was, I could already tell you what it's summed to. Anyways, because this cell determines completely what the sum of this cage is. And if I knew this one, I could get the same kind of information. Man, oh man. Okay. Yeah, at this point, I'm really just trying to find the last, like, break-in I need to solve this puzzle completely. And, unfortunately, I'm just not seeing it right now. Odds are, like, a lot of the times in the past I've solved these, it's just some random, like, normal Sudoku thing I've completely overlooked. 32 means I just need, yeah, these two to add up to 13, which both combinations will do that. Okay. If this is a 4, this has to be a 5. If this is a 5, then one of these two is a 5, which isn't the most helpful thing I've ever seen. This is 4, 5. One of these is a 4 as well. This is 5, 3. This is a 1, 4, 5. Or one of these has to be a 5 then. And it's a 1 or a 4. And that's a 1 or a... Okay, yeah, no, that's not going to get me anywhere. Well, this one can't be 7 and couldn't be 7 for a while because of the 7 down here. Which is that going to just tell... Yeah, it's just going to tell me that this one's a 7. Which means that neither of these are 9s, because I already have 9s here and here. And, yep. As expected, there was just a completely normal Sudoku thing just hanging around. At least for that part. 1, 3, 4, 5. The remaining ones are 2 and 9. So this is a 2, and this is a 9. And neither of these are 2s. And this one isn't the yellow cell. And up here I have a 9. Oops. Okay. Okay, what do I want to look at now? This is 1, 2, 3, or 4, and this is 1, 2, 3, or 4, I guess. Although I don't think that's the most helpful observation in the world. Here we have 1, 4, 5, and 7 up top. Which also isn't super helpful to know. At the moment, at least. Hmm. 1, 3, 4, 5's in here, I guess. Although that's also not the most helpful thing right now. Okay. Okay, let's see. I'm not super sure where to go with a lot of this right now, actually. Yeah, I'm not really sure at the moment what the next steps are. If this is a 1, does that break anything? Yeah, if this is a 1, then this also has to be a 1, because this can't be a 1. So, that's not a 1. One of these two is a 1 now. Okay. If this one's a 1, then this is a 1 as well, which means this isn't a 1. So this could be a 1, and no, this is a 1, then this one has to be a 1, right? Yeah, because this is a 4. And if this is a 1 instead, then this one just can't be a 1 anyways, and this one would have to be a 1. Okay. Okay. If this one isn't a 1, then what does that tell us? And this is a 4 here, which means I need a 4 up there, which means this one can't be a 4, it has to be a 3 or a 5, this has to be a 1 or a 5, this has to be a 1 or a 5. Yeah, because if this is a 1, then what? Then so is the yellow ones, so this has to be then a 4. And this one here, Can this one and this one ever be the same number, actually? As if this is a 1 here, then we know that this one can't be a 1. And if this one's a 4 here, then the yellows are 1s, which means this has to be a 1. So this one here links to up here, which means this one here links to here, which makes this an 8. Which means one of these two is an 8 as well. Which means one of these is a 3. Cool. If this yellow one is a 4, then this has to be a 4, so this has to be a 4. And if this yellow one's a 1, then these are 1s. So these also just can't be 3s, which means we have a 2-3 pair here. And both of these are yellow, which means this has to be a 1 or a 4 from yellow, which means, since I can't, I could have a 1 here. And this one has to be the yellow one, because this one can't be, since it can't match another black. Okay. Which is gonna just tell me that this one's a 3. And that did light up things, which is a good sign. And then that makes this a 5, and this a 3, and that gives me a 12 here, which means I need a 1 and a 3, and I think that's actually going to solve the puzzle. Just judging based off of all of this. 4, 1, 4. A 28 there, which that cage number does not matter in the slightest. 5 and 5. Okay. Because at this point we just straight up have a normal Sudoku. Because the cages pretty much don't matter. Here's a 4. This is a 3-9 pair. Let's see. 2, 3, 7, 9 here, so 2, 7, and this one also can't be a... Oh, no, not 7, 9. I'm looking for 2, 3, 4, 9. So this is a 2 or a 4. This one here is a 4 or a 9. And then down here is 2, 3, 7, 9. So this one here is 7, 9, and this one here is 2 and 7. Okay. Alright. This one is a 1, and this one is just not yellow. I don't think I actually need any of this coloring anymore. So we're just going to get rid of all of it. As I've done everything that involves that. So just decluttering the board some. This one here is a 3, which makes this and this an 8 and that a 2. And that's going to give me a 3 and a 2 and a 3 and a 5 and a 3 and a 9. And yeah, that last deduction pretty much seems like it was the last thing necessary for solving this puzzle, because now just 5 and 4. And there appears to have been an error somewhere. Did I miss some of the rules? It's a great question, world. We'll see. 3, 3, 3, 3. 3 in that corner, 3 in this corner. Okay, so let's see. None of the fog is here, which implies that all of these are correct. So let's just make sure all my cages add up to the correct numbers. That 45 is fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That one's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 adds up to 15. 6, 7, 8, 9 puts me at 45. Plus 6 puts me at 51. 60, 68. Here we have 2 plus 3 is 5. 2 plus 3 is 5. Yeah, that's wrong. I think. Because it needs to be a 5 double. Let's see. Actually, that might not be wrong. 2 plus 3 plus 7 is 12, 20, 29, 34, 40, 45. And that's 12, 10, 16, plus 8 puts me at 24, plus 4 puts me at 28. All the cages are right, none of the... Huh. What's the issue with here? So I don't see any problems. Okay. We're just real quick going to Control-C, Control-V, Enter. We're just going to check the rows. Row 5, then column 2, because maybe it's just a weird thing with this. Because it should be right. 637, 981, 425, and then column 2. 472, 931, 856. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so it's just a weird Sudoku pad error, but either way, in that case, that'll do it for this one. Should probably see how many... Oh, this is a 5-star one. That explains why. This one was a bit tougher, but yeah. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time, so bye.